Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So, you're probably wondering, why is the Oliver back apart? So, we were having some water issues. We were still having too much compression and air. You have to forgive me, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, working my ass off all day. But the lighting in here is absolutely terrific, as you can't tell. As you can tell. So, we were having too much pressure on the water side to where it was constantly just blowing antifreeze out and just causing all kinds of issues. So, and I just got that head gasket. I didn't like how it seat when I torqued it down. And it's not exact. It is no replica of the old gasket that I used, but that was the only one that they made that was available. So, the issue I was running into was like I couldn't find an original gasket that was made out of the fabric. All I could find was the aluminum with the compression rings. So when you torqued it down, it was supposed to be sealed and ready to go. Well, that in this situation, that was not the case. Comes to find out, I'll show you here on the gasket. This would be number one, or one. Right here, you can see where it was black. I smudged it off the other day, but you can see it was black across here, and this is a port for your water. That's where it was building pressure. But as you can see, there's some discoloring on these fire rings in here. These come off, by the way. They're just sitting in there. Those are what they call the compression ring, which is like a updated version. And you can also see here, see the black. That's what was causing to have pressure, and it was also having a lot of blow by too, because this is also another water port. These are your oil. So yeah, we were just having all kinds of issues with this head gasket. I'm not blaming the manufacturer of the gasket. It may work for some blocks, but for the Model A style Oliver, no go. I highly not recommend it because I was having a bunch of issues with it. It was also hard to start too, because I believe it was about 10 thousandths thicker than the original gasket. I mean, this thing's not thin. So it was also making it a pain in the ass to start. So we come down to it. That's what we're going on. That's why the head is back off of the unit, because we were having water issues. So, but on to the new thing that we were trying to work on here. Now, the Oliver, they didn't come out with a hydraulic system for your steering until I think it was 1850, 50 in the 55s. This is 1800, and they just had a shaft. I'll show you on the other side. They have a shaft on the other side that just goes down to a gearbox, and because you can see the water looks like motor oil. It wasn't good. But no, this is your steering linkage. This is what goes to your gearbox. Clear down, it's up there. And I tell you what, it was a pain in the ass to turn, and it was constantly beating you up. When you had to turn real quick to the end of the field, it worked the crap out of your arm. I mean, you couldn't move your arms when you were done. It was just, back when you made these tractors, they were real men. And also, too, those tractors probably pushing 30, 40 years old, maybe even older. I'd have to do the math right now. I'm just too tired to do the math. It might have worked really good back in its day, but they even knew, I've heard they said that they weren't a very good idea. So, but the low side and the high side worked great. That's what we ended up doing. That's your low, and that's your high. Oops, sorry. Yep, low and high. So that worked like a beauty. I used this thing a couple days ago to do some stock chopping, and worked great. Had plenty of power, and didn't phase it whatsoever. Everything was working great, other than the steering. It just kind of sucked. Hydraulics working good. So back to the hydraulic system. I have a old, I can't think of the number of it now, but this came off of a Massey Ferguson combine, and it's a tilt and everything. And this is how far I got on now, but this is a tilt. I customized the dash, hashtag angle grinder, to make this guy work. So it just comes right out of there, and we can tilt it up to get out easier and put it down to, to adjust it to where we want it. And this also comes out too, so it's fully adjustable, which makes it great. So there's where your locking teeth are. I'm gonna have to make a bracket here to where we can push on it or pull back or pull on it to disunlock, to lock it, or to lock it and then unlock it to where we can move it where we need it. So that's what I was working on today. Sorry I haven't been doing much content on this thing whatsoever. Been doing a lot of the stuff just boring, tearing the motor apart. Anybody can do that. I'm sorry that I failed. It's kind of hard to do everything when you have one or two pair of hands when you need someone for video camera, but at the moment, they don't think doing YouTube is such a good idea. Like, well, it's not really your decision, it's mine. But yeah, it is what it is. So it'd be all right. So that's what we're kind of working on now. And I better unhook this because it'll just leak all night. And so yeah, it's gonna work great. It fits in there perfectly. I wish I turned my light on. Hey, let me see if I can turn my. Okay, so I cannot turn the light on. That's kind of dumb. But anywho, let me get my shop light so we can see you guys can see what's better going on here. So that's what I ended up doing here. Snap-on lights. I highly recommend getting one. They're a little pricey, but I tell you what, them things stick anything, man. I love them. So this is what I was working on. I got a plate, and I got this guy welded to here. These are the original mounts off of the unit, off of the combine, which is down on the other side there. But I ended up using the original mounts off of them, and then I welded them to a plate, and actually bolted the plate to the original hole in the cast. So it ended up lining up perfect, and it still turns easy and everything. So, and once you feed it oil pressure, it should move real easy. But no, I ended up just bolting these fast to this too, and then I bolted this fast to this because I want to be able to take it apart. If this ever failed, I can just pull it right out of there without taking the flipping tank off every time just to pull a stinking head gasket. But you shouldn't have to pull a head gasket. So, it's just one of them things. It just happens. So, but now I can start working on, as soon as I get the locking position holder made, I'll go ahead and go through and try to get the throttle linkage working, because this jacked up the whole idea that Oliver has for the throttle. So I have to customize that. I'll try to get a video. I'll have to let you guys know. I might just have to show you after the product, or after I got it made. But I'm not going to go through and clean them up. I already took the edge off of them, so they're not sharp. But I could take the edge off of them just to make it look nice and pretty. Tractor's really not that pretty. So you won't even know it's in there really unless you tell them. So, but another thing I had to do is I had to notch this big piece of cast out of here, because this was gonna hit, and it was rubbing and the pump was hitting. So I just wanted to make sure I had plenty of clearance in there just for I could move it. I'm gonna have to notch the battery box as well. So, but yeah. And we'll just get hoses, the original hoses. They're just down in there. Those two guys, the hose and the steel. I'll probably try to bend that line. I might have to get a new line, but I'm not sure. But we'll feed those. They'll feed this, and then we'll run 2 hydraulic lines up to the cylinder to run the front end, and then we'll run a straight bar, kind of like a a car front end, or more like a 90s Ford front end, because they have a straight support bar going across, and they have the steering box tied into that rod or into that bar. So I'm going to use that same idea on this piece, or on this thing. Then that would also give us new tie rods, because these are gone. They're just shot. Not even worth the, yeah. I don't know. I might have to look at those inside ones. They might be okay. I need some adjustment. And then again, though, too, because I'm going to use the arms and everything off of the combine as well. And they were still really tight. But they're really old. So I'll just have to see how good they are. But no, I would get rid of the box that's up in there. That's your steering box right there that comes down. Unfortunately, like this there hanging down is part of the cast that holds the front end. So I can't get rid of that. But I'm hoping I'm going to have to heat this and bend it down to where it's about like, I don't know, about like right here. And give you guys a little bit, like, I don't know, like about like right here. Maybe not quite that far. I'll bend it down far enough to where I can just get underneath this piece of the front end. That way then I can mount the cylinder either on this side or the other side. I'm not 100% positive yet, because I want to make sure we mount it at the right spot, so that way it works the best it possibly can. So that's an update on the Oliver. So got some big plans for it. Looking to try to find a maker for head gaskets. So that's an issue, because apparently that's the only head gasket you can get for this dumb thing. And we found a company. We did find a company, but the guy was already out. He wasn't going to be in until Monday. This is 1:30 in the morning on Sunday. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. And hopefully we can get a head gasket coming, because I need the old girl back on again. We got some shit to haul, and we're going to go look at a manure spreader for the farm this week sometime too. A friend of ours went to an auction and ended up, he was going to watch a spreader, and it brought more than what we thought it was worth. But then the other guy said, hey, I got one that's in better shape. I'll sell you for about the same price, but it needs a little work. I'm like, well, that's the story of our life. So, but enough of that. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned. And yeah, and we'll just see y'all later. And I guess I'm going to try to make this I might as well make it a 15 to 14 minute video. Jab on a little bit. So, but yeah, that's what we got going on. And we're supposed to go look at that this week. Been needing a spreader, honestly, for a long time. And the spreaders have just been way too expensive. Just a tandem axle spreader that would hold a decent amount of cow crab was bringing like 10 grand to 15,000. 10 grand to $15,000. It was just ridiculous. So a small business farmer can't afford those things. So we have to just work with what we got. But hey, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. And yeah, please subscribe, leave a comment, and just, yeah, we'll see y'all out there. Remember, wrench on it.